Hey everybody, Justin Joe back with another one, and today this is about the fill function, the fill trigger conditions on Elektron boxes. And of course we're on the Octatrack, but this premise, these locks, they all kind of work the same, whether you have a Digitakt, Digitone, Syntakt, analog Rytm, analog 4, etc. The button combination would be different to trigger it, and there's going to be some other nuances. Check your manual, but hopefully this will kind of give you a good introduction and get your gears turning on what you can do with fills. So we got a little one here just to give you a little demo. On the Octatrack, you hold up and press page. Here's a little stutter. I got 2 in here, so if I hold it down, I think I'll get 2 pages. One thing you might notice is it's not just doing fills, it's actually pulling stuff in and out, which we'll get to here in just a minute. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is, I'm not sure what the right word is for these, but the triggers are global. And what I mean by global is when you set up a fill condition on one track and you set up a fill or a non-fill on the other track, when you hit the fill button combination, it's going to trigger all of your fill conditions across all your tracks at the same time. So that's powerful, but also just important to know. When you hit a fill, you're not just hitting the fill on the current track, you're hitting a fill on all of your tracks at the same time. And the other reason that's important is because if you're like me, I actually set up a lot of patterns with variations here. So if I get 12 patterns deep and I decide that I'm going to do a fill, that fill is not going to be on any of the previous patterns. So one just thing to consider is to plan some of those fills, especially some of your simple ones, the drum fills and stuff. Plan those early so when you copy and paste, like I do, I copy and paste the drums across all these, that those will persist across all your patterns. All right, so how do we do this? Let me load up a project. I'm going to load up this same project. I got it without fills here. And while that's loading up, I just want to say this video was requested by one of my Patreons. So that's one of the benefits of being over on Patreon. If you want to request a video topic, that's one of the benefits of being a Patreon. But would you consider being a Patreon? I would really appreciate it. Not only are you just supporting me, but you can get a lot of stuff for free over there. All the stuff I sell on GUMROAD, even including my MIDI commander, which is my latest project for the Ableton Move, that costs $20 on GUMROAD. You're going to pay half of that on Patreon or less and get it for free, along with all my other sample packs, all the other software templates. And I also have at least one unreleased track that I release at least one a month for you to check out over there. All right, so if we want to do a trig condition, one of these fill conditions, let's just strip everything out so we can hear what's going on here. Maybe just a simple drum fill like that. Whoops, let me stop this. So if we hold down, how we get there is just like we do our micro timing. Hold down your triggers and press either left or right, and that gives you your micro timing. We're going to come up to the knob, and often I kind of steered away from a lot of these. I just didn't understand them. We'll do, like, a lot of people will use these percentages, or I use these a lot, 101, 201, 301. Those are cool for creating variations and stuff like that. But we are going to be back at the very beginning. So we're off, fill, and then one more click is not fill. And it's hard to see. It's just that line across the top. So fill, line across the top is not fill. All right, so this is a fill. And then like I said, with the Octatrack, you just hold up. All right, so what do we got here on the second one? What can we do a little different? These are our hats. Maybe we'll do one here. We'll do this as, actually, let's do it right here. Let's do this as a fill. And then we'll take these two and we'll mute these when we fill. So that's going to be a not fill. Okay, now on this track, I actually have a loop. Let's change it to 1 page just so we can simplify our lives here. Whoops. Now, what if I want to pull that loop out like I pulled those hats out? Well, we can do, why can't I always do these trigless trigs very easy? There we go. So one of our green, I always want to call it trigless trig, but it's a silent trig. We can lock this to be envelope 0. So, and then change it to fill. So now when the fill condition happens, it's going to initiate that trigger, and that trigger is locked to 0. And that's really cool because when you get a lot of stuff going on and you got these fills, you know, like a little DJ trick, you know, you got 2 records going at the same time and you pull one out right at the turnaround. Same kind of idea, and it's going to create some really cool vibes there. So we got a different top here. What could we do different here? Well, you can use this as a punch-in effect, right? So let's see. This actually might work better with the loop. Let's go back to the loop here and then put another one of those bad boys down. And this time, let's see, we got a reverb on here. Let's change that to a delay, maybe just so we can hear it a little bit better. Turn the tape off. Now, if we crank our send up, crank our feedback up, let's hear what it sounds like. So that gives us the delay. Now, change that to a fill. So now we're not hearing it. So you can use it to like punch in effects. And if you didn't have any fills, you just wanted to you could use the fill just to punch in your effects. Set up a bunch of those locks, set it to fill, set those to your effect sends or whatever you got going on there like that. And then when you hit that fill, it's just going to punch in your effects. Or you can have, you know, any combination of thereof. Let's bring the bass and some, we'll do one more here. So let's find a couple extra, whoops. And you could do combos, right? I could have that also, right? So it's going to be a trigger, and that trigger is going to have an effect lock on it now. So let's go and set that to fill. And then maybe let's set this one to not fill. This is where you just kind of start getting wild with it and see what happens. And then let's do one more here. Maybe 2. And then let's put an effect on that one too. So all right. And we did change that to fill, right? Oh, we didn't. See, I almost messed it up there. Fill. Okay. So now we got a bunch of crazy stuff going on. Let's see what it sounds like. See, cool, right? You get all kinds of wild stuff going on. Then it's just a flick of one button. So that's it. That's all I got for you on fills. I'm sure there's all kinds of magic tricks that some of these more advanced users on Elektronauts and all that stuff. But I just want to give like the simple version. Also, honestly, before this video was requested, I didn't use fills that much. So I love this because then it forces me to learn how to do it. And then I'm like, why the heck have I not been using this? This is so powerful. So if you have any what am I trying to say? If you use the fill in a different way or you have any other ideas, I would love to see that down below. Drop a comment and tell us what you're doing. Link a video maybe where you're doing something like that. I hope you learned something today. And thanks for supporting the channel. Have a good day. God bless.